is not worth living.
Exactly, exactly. So he attributed a lot of importance to the aspects of morality, virtue, justice, and nature of knowledge. I'm gonna depict these ones. I'm gonna explain them, not explain them. I'm gonna point out these words specifically: morality, virtue, justice, and the last concept, which is the nature of knowledge. Why do you think these four concepts that Socrates used are important? I mean, do you think morality is important? Of course, I know that the answer is yes, but why do you think morality is important?
Uh, because
I cannot hear you very clearly. Nat. It sounds like a switch connecting and disconnecting, connecting and disconnecting for some reason.
I don't know.
Now,
I think that, how do you say inherente?
inherent.
Inherent. I think it's an inherent thing for humans, and of course we decide if we want to apply it, because sometimes we ignore it and
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, and maybe think, oh, I'm doing the correct thing or the good, but we don't think so in the moral, and we haven't. We need to apply it in all the cases.
Yeah, that's very true in all the cases. That's a very important comment that you're making. And let me share with you the ideas of people that I know personally. Some of them have a fantastic morality. They say, I apply the moral principles if I am under observation or not. I have a brother who is like that. I use moral principles whether I am being seen or not. So if that person is under observation or not, he uses moral principles regardless, being seen or not. And I know another person who says, I use moral principles when I am under observation. When I am not, I am not visible. Nobody nobody sees, nobody knows. That's what this person says. What do you think of the first phrase, and what do you think of the second phrase, Nati?
Um, I like more the first one, because talking about sin or not, it's more like with the part of not. I consider that we are talking about feelings. Uh, Maybe when we say that you can not see um, the love like with quantity or with your own eyes, because it's a feeling, and it's an emotional illumination on humans, of course. And maybe the second phrase is more like an old person, probably, that is not very familiar with love or with feelings, because I read that um, in many areas, in the past, of course, people are maybe a lot of how do you say cerrados,
Closed
closed,
up.
yeah, closed up with their feelings and what they with their thinking.
Yeah. Well, I find your comments very very interesting. The second phrase makes me suspicious of the person's morality. In other words, what this person is trying to say is, I will behave okay if I am. under observation. If nobody sees, then I can steal or cheat or do anything I want. That seems to be the message from the second phrase, which I absolutely don't like. I don't know if you agree with this interpretation, Nati. Can you please read it?
Yes, I can read. I will behave okay if I am under observation. If nobody sees, then I can steal or cheat or do anything I want.
Yeah, what this person says is I use moral principles when I am under observation. When I am not visible, if nobody sees, nobody sees, I can steal, I can take this, I can take that, nobody sees. Who can complain? Who can blame me? Who can do anything? Nobody is seeing. And people say that. I know three, four, five people who use this principle, and I don't like it. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's not very healthy at the same time. In this case, the healthy. It's you are how you say engañar?
If you cheat, deceive, if you deceive,
You are deceiving yourself, of course.
yes,
Uh, you say, "Oh, nobody sees me," but what about you?
exactly.
It's your trust. Yeah, the confidence.
That's true. That's true. Nobody sees is a concept which is not complete, right? Nobody
Yeah.
sees. Well, wait a minute. At least two entities are seeing. First, God is watching. First of all,
Mhm.
if you believe in God, God is watching. And
Yeah.
second, you yourself are watching. So is the concept nobody sees is false. It's inherently false because at least God is watching. Let's say that the person does not believe in God. Well, yeah, but I don't believe in God. Well, you are watching yourself. You know what you are doing, right?
All right.
So nobody sees because there are no cameras, there are no people here, and somebody forgot their cell phone. Nobody is looking. No, nobody. Okay, I take it and I take it to my house. Nobody observed. Nobody can blame me. Nobody can point at me and say, you stole the cell phone. Why? Because nobody saw. Well,
Mhm.
wait, I saw it. I am guilty because I am taking the phone and I know that it is not my cell phone and I am taking it. So, some people use morality in an ambiguous way. They use it at their own convenience, some
Of
people.
course. Yes.
And I think that's a very important aspect of philosophy, determining if people are consistent with the use of morality or only when it is convenient for them. What do you think of this idea?
And yeah, you are very, very right. It's only on the convenience and what they want because some people do not respect the limits that exist.
Exactly, exactly. Well, when you say limits or boundaries, Nati, limits or boundaries, which are the same thing,
Mhm.
you are introducing a very important concept. Limits or boundaries. What are the limits or the boundaries of people? Um, what are our boundaries in our behavior? What do you think are our boundaries? It's a
Mm,
very general, very vague question, almost like your teacher's question, right? What
right,
is
right.
love, right? It's similar. But in this case, the idea is that we examine not ourselves, but society in general. What is the limit that people have to behave in a certain way? It's a complex
Mm,
question, but let's think about it for a moment.
and yes, first I want to say uh, lies, but Uh, I'm searching the word. Give me 1 second. The Pew Pio's life.
But the what? Excuse me.
Pio.
Pious life. Pious.
Yes, it's
Pious life.
Pio's life.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What comes to your mind when you say this phrase? What is pious life in your concept, in your conception?
For me, it's like a little life, but who can announce or give you that name? Or I mean, like for example, if I rope, I can say, "Oh, it's a pious lie," but you can say, "No, that's no." So it depends of our believings, and yeah, at the end of the day, about convenience.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. Okay, well, we're talking about a very interesting topic, which is what Socrates considered as important topics. And Socrates considered, you mentioned this, and I thank you for this, that morality, virtue, justice, and the nature, I have a misspelling here. The nature, I actually wrote it wrong, backwards. The nature of knowledge. Uh, let's talk a little bit about virtue. First of all, let's define virtue. In your opinion, Ati, what is virtue?
For me, mm, I want to say a good moral quality in a person.
A good moral quality in a person. Okay, well, that is a definition. Virtue, that's a virtuous person. They say the person is virtuous. Uh, yeah, could be. Um, okay, do you think there is a characteristic that people or society consider as positive? Okay, well, what traits or what virtues, what are examples of virtue?
Teacher, can you repeat? I can hear you very well, very clear.
Yeah. Can you please mention two or three examples of virtues, or which are good virtues or desirable virtues? Oh, this person is a virtuous lady, is a virtuous man. Okay, which are examples of virtues?
Oh, okay. An example. Um, humility,
Humility.
humility. Yes.
I think that's true. Humility. Okay, that is a virtue. Or humbleness is the same. Humility, humbleness, humbleness.
Um,
Perfect. What
trust,
else? Which?
trust.
Trustworthiness, trustworthiness. You are trustworthy. That's a virtue.
Yeah.
Trustworthiness. Another virtue, Nati.
Kindness.
Kindness.
Yeah.
Yes, a person that is polite, a person that is amiable, that is friendly, that has always a positive, motivating word. That is a kind person. Kindness is a virtue, absolutely. Other virtues.
Wisdom.
Wisdom, of course, wisdom. What is wisdom in your perception, Nati? How do you understand wisdom? Oh, let
I
me
can.
salute. Excuse me. Let me salute Sebas, who is just joining us, and let me welcome him. Sebas, good evening. How are you today?
Hello, teacher. Good evening. I'm fine. I'm excellent, teacher. And you?
I- I'm great. I'm chatting with Nati about philosophy. Imagine, it's, it's a profound concept. Sometimes, of course, it's very profound, but these are concepts that all of us understand. For example, in this moment, Nati mentioned that good virtues of people, according to Socrates, well, the examples are given by Nati, but Nati mentioned that Socrates um, favored four concepts in his philosophy, that we should focus on morality, virtue, justice, and the nature of knowledge. And in this moment, we're giving examples of virtues. So Nati just gave us the example of wisdom. Wisdom, Nati says that is a quality, is a virtue. And I totally agree with her. So let's listen to what Nati says, Sebas, please. And then I will ask you some questions about your examples, please. Okay?
Okay, teacher.
Thank you very much, Sebas. So, Nati, what is wisdom in your opinion?
My opinion, the knowledge people that develop.
Okay, very good. That's a good example. I'm gonna ask Sebas in a moment. Let me just welcome Andres. Andrew, good evening. How are you?
Hi, teacher. I'm okay.
Nice. Today we are in the topic of philosophy, and it's a concept. It's a topic that Nati suggested. Well, she didn't suggest it, but she was sharing some things with me, and I noticed that it's a universal um topic that we experience it. We live it every day. So, welcome, Andrew. And I will ask you guys a few questions. I'm going to ask Sebas first. Sebas, give us an example of virtues that you have seen in you, in your family, in friends, neighbors. What are the traits that virtuous people have, Sebas, please?
Um, Probably loyalty.
Loyalty. That's a virtue that I fully, deeply appreciate. What is loyalty, Sebas?
Well, it's when you are, how to say, probably constant, or I don't know if it's correct to say it.
Constant with your solidarity
With
towards a
your
person,
solidarity, yes,
towards a
or to
person,
be, or to be uh, being loyal to
being loyal. Yeah, okay. But
with
what is
someone, or to one idea.
loyal to an idea? Okay, that's also possible. Very good. Good definition. Thank you, Sebas. Andrew, what are examples of virtues that you have, family, friends, neighbors, people at work, that you appreciate, that you say, oh, this is a fantastic quality, this is a good virtue? Andrew, please.
I don't know, teacher. Let me think about it. Maybe. Um, uh, I don't know. Maybe. Benevolence. I don't know.
Benevolence. Benevolence. Oh, I think that is a fantastic virtue. What is benevolence in your opinion, Andrew? Where do you see it? Or give us an example of benevolence.
Mm, Maybe when the a person have a real facility to apologize the human error.
A real possibility to forgive
Uh-huh.
a human error. Yeah, condescendence. Okay, I appreciate the example. I think the example is very good. Thank you very much. I think these are great examples that Nati, Sebas, and Andrew have given about virtues. I love it. It's great. Thank you very much. Now let's talk about another concept that Nati introduced, talking about Socrates, and that is the concept of justice. That justice is a difficult concept to define. I mean, we understand it very easily. That's fair. That's justice, or that is unfair. That is injustice. What is justice, Nati? How do you define justice? And then I'm going to ask Nati, then Sebas, and then Andrew to define justice. Nati, Sebas, and Andrew to define it. Give a definition, please. It's complex, but try, please. Definition of justice.
Yes, I think that justice is the ethical, mm, the ethical idea that people are to be treated in, impartially.
Impartially, okay. So it's impartial treatment, maybe, with your definition. I gather that you refer to impartial treatment. Okay, very good. I like the definition. Thank you, Nati. Sebas, for you, what is injustice in your idea? Sebas, please.
And justice, it's have um, equality at the in all type of aspects, and treatment in all the with all people. Um, yes.
Okay, that makes total sense. Makes total sense. Thank you very much, Sebas, Nati. Thank you very much, Andrew. What is justice in your opinion? What is justice for Andrew, please?
It's a little hard
To define?
to give a definition of justice, but I think that we define
You are breaking, Andrew. I cannot hear you clearly. I hear you a little bit broken.
um, trait. I don't know.
Fair treatment.
Mm,
What did you say? I couldn't hear you clearly.
yeah, just give a fair treatment for everyone.
Very good. I think the definitions that you guys are giving are great examples. Okay, very good. Now we're going to do an example. We're going to uh, we're going to write a short text in which we give an unfair treatment. So um, provide a short story, or yeah, a short idea, a short description story, or description of a situation in which a person is treated uh, unfairly, with injustice. So let's do this exercise, please. Provide a short description of a situation, a short story, or a description of a situation in which a person is treated unfairly. For example, I'm going to give a basic example. Um, a kid forgot his homework because uh, his grandma was sick, uh, and he didn't sleep very well taking care of his grandma. But in the way to school, feeling half slept, with half asleep, he noticed that he had forgotten his homework. The teacher got very angry and gave him a very bad scolding in front of all the classmates. I think this was very unfair, I think. Well, this is an example, right? Who wants to read my example, please? It's very short, it's very basic, but well, who wants to read it, please?
Me,
Okay, Nati, please.
a kid forgot his homework because his grandma was sick and he didn't sleep very well taking care of his grandma. But in the way to school, feeling half asleep, he noticed,
I'm sorry, noticed.
he noticed that he had forgotten his homework. The teacher got very angry and gave him a very bad scolding in front of all the classmates.
Yeah, that I think, in my opinion, that was a very unfair situation because the teacher didn't ask him, why did you forget the homework? She just gave him a scolding, right? With no questions asked. Okay, that's, in my opinion, an example of an unfair treatment to the kid. All right. Well, please, Andrew, Nati, and Sebas, produce a similar text in which you describe an unfair situation, please. Can you take maybe 2, 3, 5 minutes? I don't know. Oh,
Yes,
here is, I'm sorry,
Yes, teacher.
Andrew. Here's Andrew. So please, Andrew, Sebas, and Nati, if you can please provide an example or a short story in which you show an unfair treatment. This is an example here, like this one here. Example. This is an example. Example. All right. Well, let's see what you come up with. Present. Share the window. This window. Well, when you have an example or you have made some progress, let me know, please. And 25. Well, here I have some examples. Oh, well, look at Seba's example and Nati's example. They are both good examples. I'm gonna show them. I'm gonna show Nati's example first because she seems to have written this first, and then I'm gonna show Seba's example, and then Andrew's example. So this is Nati's example, and Nati, I'm gonna ask you to please read it. Can you read your text, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Um, in the village of Crestwood lived Samuel, known for his kindness and gentleness. He worked at the local factory, but one day he was unfairly dismissed. Despite looking for work without success, Samuel stood firm, determined to provide for his family. Although the injustice weighed heavily on him, he found strength in the love of his family to carry on.
Okay. So very interesting text, Nati. Thank you very much. I don't know if Sebas, do you have questions about Nati's text? Make maybe make please one or two clarifying questions. Can you, Sebas, about Nati's text? And Andrew, if you can make a question to clarify Nati's text. I mean, it's clear. Obviously, it's not confusing, but it's just an exercise. Please.
Okay, teacher.
So, what is question number one? Even if the text is clear, let's still try mm, to clarify questions. To say, Nati, why was he unfairly dismissed, right? Or any question. You can ask Nati any question. Sebas, please, if you can.
Did Samuel find a new job?
Say that again, please.
Did Samuel find a new job?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. Nati, what happened with Samuel?
Samuel found a job 3 weeks later.
Excellent question. Excellent answer. Thank you very much. Do you have a second question, Sebas, or maybe Andrew? You can ask Nati a question about her text. I don't know if
No, for now I don't have any question.
other questions. I have a question there for Nati. Um, you said that although the injustice weighed heavily on him, he found strength and love in the love of his family. So why did he feel so overwhelmed or worried or terrified about having lost his job? Why did he feel so overwhelmed or so terrified or so bad? Why did he feel so bad when he lost his job? Nati, please.
Well, because he was the support of the family,
Uh,
so he thought that it's like they were like his responsibility.
yeah, well, if he's the support of his family, obviously he's gonna feel overwhelmed or worried or terrified, right?
Right? Yeah.
Imagine the feeling. Oh no. Okay, great answer, Nati. Thank you very much. I'm gonna ask Andrew if you can, Andrew, please. I know that maybe you're probably completing your writing. Just a very brief interruption. Very brief, please. Andrew is writing. Um, well, if you can make a question, Andrew, please. A question to clarify or question about Nati's text. If you can ask her something, please.
Okay, teacher. Mm, no, teacher. I don't know what to ask.
Any question about the story? Is she, for example, you can say, well, in what state or in what country is Crestwood? Right? Or how do you know that he was so gentle or so kind? Or maybe another question is, uh, how did he find strength in the love of his family? I mean, what is the evidence? Or what did his family tell him? Or any question about the situation is, I mean, just any simple question, very simple question about, I mean, Samuel lost his job, but
Okay.
he did not surrender, right? So what gave him hope, for example, or what did he do to get a new job, or what did his parents tell him? Any question, I mean, making the question is easier, I think, than answering it. But
Uh,
so any simple question, whatever you can ask, please.
well, do you think that it's more probably that uh, kind of people like Samuel, uh, ¿cómo se dice caer? O sea, como decir, de que
Can
lleguen a una cierta situación
get into, can fall into a situation, into a certain situation,
more than another persons different of him.
who may be different from him. Okay, let's see if I understand the question. Do you think that it's more probable to find people, to find people like Samuel? Is this okay? More or less the idea. People like Samuel, or what is exactly the question? Can you rephrase the question, Andrew? Because looks to find people, or that people like Samuel can fall into certain situations. What is exactly the question? Because there are like two different questions in one. Or maybe I didn't understand. Can you
Uh,
rephrase?
yeah, teacher. My question is more about that. Why the people that are gentleness, kindness, or maybe humble are uh, so um, um, more I don't know how to say more
Prone,
unlucky.
unlucky. Okay, that's an excellent question. Unlucky. Are more unlucky in the conservation of the jobs or in the jobs, in their jobs?
In general, to get a new job or to lose the job.
Okay, more unlucky to both lose their jobs and get new jobs. They are. Why is it more difficult for people like Samuel? Okay, let me rephrase it. The idea is fantastic. Why is it? Why is it more difficult for people like Samuel, who are humble, kind, or a little bit kind, humble or kind? Why is it more difficult to both lose? It's easier to lose their jobs, right?
Yeah,
It- Why is it easier?
it's more
Easier for
more.
people like Samuel to lose their jobs, or and easier and more difficult to get new jobs?
Mhm.
Okay, let's read the question. Can you read the question again, Andrew, please?
Yeah. Why is it easier for people like Samuel, who are humble, kind, to both lose their jobs and more difficult to get new jobs?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know if it is always the case, Andrew, but let's ask Nati. Nati, what do you think about Andrew's question? I think it's a very interesting question, but it's a bit complex. And I don't know if it's totally 100% true. I don't know. I will not say anything. Nati, what do you think, please?
I think it's very common. I like it so much. I don't know, like certain reasons because maybe influence the vibes or the energies uh, in the how you say it? I don't know,
In the surroundings,
in the surroundings. Probably it's better for the person that. Mm, mm, dismissed this job for a new opportunity or a new idea, new invention. I don't know, many factors.
which can be a good thing, right? I mean, the second explanation, Nati, maybe it's better, maybe there is a better opportunity waiting for people like Samuel. Maybe what
Yeah,
he originally considers as a bad thing, maybe it's not a bad thing, it's a temporarily bad thing, but in reality, something better is waiting for him. Could be.
yeah.
Well, okay. Andrew, excellent question. Sebas, great question. Nati, thank you very much. Great questions and answers. I'm going to show Sebas text now, and I'm going to ask you to do the same. We're going to ask him questions. We're going to ask Sebas to read his text. Oh, and here is Andrew's text too. Okay, well, This is the text from Sebas. I'll ask him to read it, and then Nati, Andrew, and myself, we're going to ask him questions. So, Sebas, please, can you go ahead and read your example?
Yes, teacher. In the computer drawing class, the teacher made it clear that after the deadline in more assignments will be received. This affected some classmates except one who is a friend of the teacher and he can deliver even after the deadline.
That's unfair. That's beyond the rules. He was able to deliver after the deadline. That's not fair. That's unfair. Okay, excellent text, Sebas. Nati, can you ask Sebas a clarifying question, please, or any question about the topic, about his text, please?
Yes, teacher. Do you think this case occurred in real life, but in many cases?
Well, this
Okay.
happened in my classroom.
Okay, that's one example, right? No, but
It's
the question is valid. It's a valid question. I
yeah,
Yes.
mean, do you think this happens quite often or not very often in real life?
In real life, I think it's often.
it's
It's
his
very often.
story.
It's a case of real life, huh?
It's a case of real life.
Okay.
So
What do you
yes,
think? Yeah,
it happens. I think very often in lots of places.
and that's unfair. That's not fair. That's unfair.
Yes, it's very unfair. Sure.
Okay. Very good. Excellent question. Excellent answer. Thank you. Andrew, can you ask Sebas a question about his rising, please?
Yeah. Why do you think that these situations uh,
Take place,
uh,
occur,
mhm,
arise, happen?
yeah, happen? Yeah.
All right, that's a good question. Great question. Sebas, what do you think?
I think it's because the teachers and or some teachers or the teachers and the students they not divide the school life and the social life probably,
Okay. Well, that may be a reason. It makes total sense.
or they uh, cross the line of between friends and teacher and students.
They cross the line. That also happens, and that
Yes,
also can happen. I have seen that as a teacher and as a student, that some students want to cross the line. Sometimes it's the teachers who try to cross the line. Um, okay, I have a question for the three of you about a similar topic. Uh, have you seen have you seen cases in which teachers and students cross a line they shouldn't cross? That has happened. I have seen it. I have seen it. When I was a student, I saw many examples similar to Seba's example. And of course, you got enraged, you got upset. You say, how can that be? That's unfair. That's not fair. Um, can you give examples like this? I don't know. Nati, Sebas, Andrew, this is a great question. Nati, Sebas, Andrew.
Mm,
I don't know if who can give examples. I don't know if Nati's around. Nati, are you around?
Um, I have one example.
Okay, please.
Mm, When a teacher like be joking with the guys, but joking with sarcasm,
Okay, okay.
and then um, cross this line of the respect with the student and the teacher.
That's a great example. Great example. Using sarcasm sometimes makes teachers and students cross the line they shouldn't cross. Thank you for the example, Nati. Sebas, do you have another example besides this one? In addition to this, another example.
mm, I'm no teacher. I think no, but I don't know if you have listened to some histories of teachers in a relationship with students.
I've heard of it actually. Yes, at UDL, Universidad de León in Irapuato, there was a famous case in which a teacher got in a personal relationship with one of his students, and the
Yes.
student was the daughter of a lady who owned a small store. And so he went to the store with his girlfriend, that was his student, and ate lunch for free for 2 years. And one day, this teacher simply got in another relationship with another student, cheating and deceiving the first student, which to begin with is totally incorrect and is unbearable to have a relationship with a student, in my opinion. I think that should not be permitted. That became a scandal, and obviously, the parents of the student launched a legal suit against the teacher. So he had to escape from from the law, and that became a fantastic, not fantastic, a huge scandal. But well, that's one of the many cases that I have seen.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, well, that's a story that still people talk about. What about you? Thank you, Sebas, for the question. Andrew, what have you seen? Cases
Uh,
in
maybe,
yes.
maybe. Well, I have a case in with my moments in the university
Hmm.
that the teachers had more preference uh, with the girls because maybe they have a less or totally nothing moral or ethical uh, mm, conscience, conciencia moral,
Moral conscience.
moral conscience, that for the simple fact that they are girls, the teachers, well, they are so. How do you say? Well, I don't know. It's a little hard, but it's mm, uh, how do you say realidad?
In reality,
It's the reality that some teachers are, in certain sense, I don't know how to say pervertidos.
Pervert, pervert.
Yeah.
They're pervert. Well, uh, that's a great example, and that's real. Yeah, that happens. Has happened in many places, and that is actually has become not a pandemic, but it has become quite often, quite usual to see these cases of lack of morality um, that Nati and I were talking about in the beginning. That we use morality at our own convenience. Not always, of course, not us, but many people use it when it is convenient for them, and when it's not convenient, they simply forget about that. Okay, well, Andrew, Sebas, Nati, thank you very much for your examples. Let's take a little break, a 5 minute break. 5 minute break, please. And we can come back in 5 minutes if it's okay with you. So let's take a
Yes,
five
teacher.
minute
Sounds good.
break and we come back. Okay, please. So
Okay,
it is
teacher.
Okay, teacher.
8:08. We come back at 8:15, please, so that you have some time to drink water or something. Okay, please.
Yes,
Okay,
teacher.
teacher. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you. Thank you in a minute. See you in
See
a
you in a
minute.
minute.
Thank you very much. See you in a few minutes. Sorry, guys, I am back. I was chatting with my daughter. She's in Pittsburgh. She's very happy there. Um, I don't know if you guys are back, but I am back. Are you there, Nati, Sebas, Andrew? Are you guys there?
Hello, teacher. I'm back too.
You're back too?
Yeah, teacher.
Perfect. Very good. Well, the last question that we were talking about Socrates, who was one of the main philosophers, was about the nature of knowledge, which is a complex topic. Nature of knowledge. That was one of Socrates' concerns. He wanted to know about this and um, how do we learn things? It's a question that all of us have a different method. How do we best learn things? Experimenting, reading, chatting with friends, um, listening to listening to people, hands on. How do we best learn things? Who wants to respond to this open question? What is the best way for us to learn something? Experimenting. Who wants to talk?
I think that depends of the person because there are many people that they they have more facility to learn um, how do you say mediante
Through.
through the uh, uh, the simple fact of watch.
Okay, let me just see, to learn through the simple fact of watching. Okay, very good. It makes total sense, Andrew. Can you repeat the phrase again? Please let me reduce the font.
Yeah, it depends on the person. There are many people for whom it's easier to learn through the simple fact of watching. And yeah, uh, example, for example, I have a uncle that he he learned to, I don't know how to say, confeccionar pantalones.
To produce or to manufacture pants.
To manufacture pants, uh, just watching. They watched the mold and he replicate
Replicating what? The practice or the
replicate the exact model and the um, tall, the las tallas, the
model or the
size
sizes?
sizes. Yeah,
Wow, that is impressive.
yeah,
Impressive. That's amazing. Well, some people have that talent, Andrew. Some people have that talent. So it is true. What you say
yeah,
is totally true that some people learn just by watching. I believe that is a great example.
yeah. They mix their talent with the sense.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Excellent. Andrew, fantastic example. Thank you very much. Let me ask Nati and Sebas if they can provide an example of how people best learn things. Andrew, Nati, Sebas, can you give us an example? It can be any person. family member? Yes, Sebas.
Probably practicing.
By practicing, okay. By practicing. Give us an example, please. That is true. This is true. By practicing.
Well, probably in a mechanical, in a process of mechanizing a piece or something, you probably start to practicing with the machine or with the material, and you start to learn how to work it. So
You start practicing how to produce or how to machine a piece.
to machine a piece, yes,
How to machine a piece. Usually in a lathe, right? Torno.
yes, yes, teacher.
Okay. Why does this happen? Why is practicing such an important practice? Repeating and repeating and repeating. Why is this important, Sebas?
Probably because you learn to work in the real conditions, and meanwhile in the in the theory you didn't know exactly how the things could happen, but in the practicing you start to know how the things react.
But in reality, in the real world, you truly find out how things what really work out. Okay,
Really work out.
let's see if this idea is your idea. Can you check it and tell me if this is what you want to say?
And yes, teacher, let me read it. By practicing the process of producing a piece, you start producing how to machine a piece in a lathe. You learn to work in real condition, while in the theory you don't know exactly how the things could take place. But in the real world, you truly find out how things really work out. Yes, teacher. It's
Okay, so
my idea.
these are two aspects of how we learn things. Andrew says that some people, just by watching, they learned to do something. You say another equally valid idea, which is by practicing, and I fully agree with you. Um, Thank you, Sebas. That's also a great idea, a great explanation. Nati, what have you seen? What have you seen in people, friends, family, yourself, maybe? Is there a favorite way, Nati, in which people work or learn something?
By memorizing.
Okay, by memorizing. Yeah, okay. How do people do that?
Re- well, first create like some notes or select the correct information, and then they repeat and repeat and repeat. And there is two ways. The first way is that the person comprehend comprehend the information, and then do like their own opinion or like a paraphrase, or the second way, the person understand or memorize all the information.
Mhm.
That's all.
Excellent. Well, I believe this is also a fantastic idea. Can you read it again, Nati, please? By memorizing first,
Yes,
creating some
teacher.
notes.
By memorizing, first creating some notes, select the correct information, then they repeat and repeat. The first way is to comprehend the information and then establish their own opinion. And the second, the person memorizes all information.
Okay, so we have three ideas of how we learn things. Um, Let me ask you to look for Vygotsky. Vygotsky. Vygotsky was a Russian pedagogue who wrote quite a bit, quite extensively about the way we can best learn things. So please read a little bit about him. Read, read about him. Read a little about him and find out what his legacy about learning was. Please, can you do that? Read a little bit about Vygotsky, what he studied about the way we learn, and what was his legacy. Can you do that, please? Vygotsky, please.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Okay. So when you have something, if you can please share it, each of you, please. If you can explain what Vygotsky's idea about learning and education was.
Uh, uh, I found that they that he maintained that children develop their learning through social interaction.
Can you repeat
They,
that, please? Can you repeat it, please?
yeah, he maintained that children develop their learning through social interaction. They acquire new and better cognitive skills as a logical process of their immersion in a way of life.
Okay, let me see. He maintained that children learn through social interaction.
Uh, that children develop their learning,
Developed. Okay,
develop
developed
their
their
learning
learning through social
through
interaction.
social interaction. Yeah.
That's very important. Uh, what do you think of this, Andrew? What's your opinion about this comment from Vygotsky?
Yeah, absolutely agree because they learn about what they heard or they see in their panorama, and they um, acquire um, different skills in the um, mm, in a logical way.
Hmm. Yeah, very
Yeah.
true. This is a crucial comment. Thank you very much, Andrew. Uh, yeah, maintain that children develop their learning through social interaction. This is so important and so true. Thank you, Andrew. Nati, Sebas, what did you investigate about Vygotsky, please? Did you find out something?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, what was that, please?
Uh, Lev Vygotsky was a Soviet psychologist
Yeah.
One of his most mm, notable
Yes.
concepts is the zone of proximal development.
What?
Proximal uh, development,
Yes.
which refers to the gap between what a learner can do without assistance and what they can achieve with guidance and support from a more knowledgeable individual.
Which is the tutor.
Yeah,
Tutor. Tutor, guide, guide, master, teacher, uh, guru, whatever. Well, he says tutor. Normally it's tutor.
yeah.
Fantastic. This is a great. Can you read it again, Nati, please?
Yes, of course, teacher. Lev Vygotsky was a Soviet psychologist. One of his most notable concepts is the zone of proximal development, which refers to the gap between what a learner can do without assistance and what they can achieve with guidance and support from a more knowledgeable individual. Student.
Very good. Excellent, excellent comment. Thank you very much. We're going to discuss Andrew's, Nati's, and Seba's comments. Let me ask Sebas, please, for his findings.
Yes,
Sebas,
teacher.
what did you find, please? Can you tell us what you found?
Yes, teacher. He was one of the most prominent theories of developmental psychology, founder of historical cultural psychology, and clear precursor of Soviet neuropsychology, of which the Russian doctor Alexander Luria will be the greatest exponent. He proposed that the development of the human culture take place through activity as a process that mediates the relationship between man and his objective reality.
How would you summarize this in one or two sentences? This is a very good text, the one that you found. How would you summarize it in one, two, or three sentences? How would you make a summary of his idea, Sebas?
Mm, that the the people mm, have developed his culture by actions,
By actions.
probably.
People develop their culture by actions. Okay. Well, that's it.
I think yes.
Okay. Well, that's very, very succinct, but very good too. All right. Let's talk about these three comments from Nati, Andrew, and I'm sorry, by Andrew, Nati, and Sebas. The first one, social interaction. Give me examples, please, Nati, Andrew, and Sebas, of social interaction in children, and why you think, Nati, Andrew, and Sebas, and why you think this social interaction is so prevalent, so important, and so necessary for everyone, but in particular for children. Why is this social interaction so important, not only in adults, but mostly in children? Why do you think? Give me examples, please, of social interaction and why this is important in children. Nati, please, can you?
Yes. Mm, I want to say like, for example, doing some questionnaires.
Questionnaires, yes?
Yes, questionnaires like, for example, like I do it. I
Yes.
learn by asking and reading. Well, uh, I read the answers, but I need to do a comparison with the answers, and then I can create or imagine my own opinion.
Okay. Well, that's a great example. Thank you very much, Nati. Andrew, please, can you tell us, give us an example? I mean, no, I'm sorry. Why is social interaction so important in children? And if you can give us an example, please.
Yeah, I think that it's important um, because they can they can to satisfy their curiosity in the world
They can satisfy their curiosity. What?
in the world because well in when someone is a child they uh, always have a, a necessity to know about everything that they see, heard, or
Touch,
yeah, touch, feel,
feel.
and at the first time.
Exactly, that's very true. So they can satisfy their curiosity in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true, and that's very important. Excellent example. Thank you, Andrew. Sebas, an example of social interaction and why is that so important, please?
Can you repeat the question, teacher?
Yes, an example of social interaction and why this social interaction is so important in children. And yeah, an example, please, of social interaction in children.
Social interaction in children, probably play games,
Play
probably.
games is a social interaction,
As a
absolutely.
social interaction, probably talk about the classes, talk about the cartoons that he liked, probably the favorite characters. And I think that's a normal social interaction in kids, in children.
But it's very important. It's true. What you
It's
say is
important.
totally true. Very important. Very important. Actually, it's absolutely necessary. Don't you think?
Well, it's totally necessary because the children needs to know how to socialize, socialize
Absolutely, yes.
with other people of the same age, or probably with someone that it's older than 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 the children.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, very good comment, Sebas. Playing games, chatting about cartoons, talking about their families, talking about games. Yeah, very good. That's very important. Thank you very much, all of you. Then we have another theory of Lev Vygotsky, which is the zone of proximal development. What can I do without assistance by myself? Well, some people can look at a video, a tutorial, and learn something. I can possibly I can learn to cook. Um, what can I cook if I watch it in a tutorial? Let me see. I can look. I can not cook. I can prepare a fruit salad just by myself. Just by looking or watching a tutorial. Possibly, I cannot make a lasagna dish even with a tutorial. Possibly, I cannot make a paella dish or a lasagna, even if I watch a tutorial. Possibly Andrew can, because I think that Andrew is a good cook. He's a good chef, I think. But I cannot. I need assistance, right? So I know that if I watch a tutorial, I can prepare a mango salad or an apple salad or a spinach or broccoli salad. Or you just need to watch a tutorial, because all I need is to get the fruits, the vegetables, chop them or cut them, wash them, rinse them, dry them, put them in a bowl, and there is my salad. Fantastic. That's easy. I can do it without assistance. But if you tell me, okay, teacher, here is a tutorial how to prepare a paella or a lasagna, I will not do it by myself. I cannot. I know. Maybe Andrew can, maybe Nati, maybe Sebas. I cannot. I need help. I need the assistance of someone. Okay. So please give me an example of something that you can do without assistance from someone, and something that you cannot do even with assistance. I mean, not even with assistance. Something that you cannot do and you need assistance for that. I don't know if the question is clear, Andrew, Sebas, Nati.
I think yes.
Okay, well, so give us an example, Sebas, please, of something that you can do without assistance of another person, and something that you cannot do and you need assistance with from someone, please. So think about it for a moment, please. Or Nati or Andrew, whoever wants to take the word.
The something that I didn't need assistance. I think it's prepare a merchant.
Prepare, okay. Prepare Maruchan soup. You do it without assistance, right? Without any
Yes.
assistance. All right. So that's more or less simple. Something for
And
which you need assistance.
um, to um, to work in the how do you say taller,
Shop in the workshop.
in the workshop. Yes.
You need assistance for that, right? You cannot just arrive and say, today I'm going to create a new machine. Well, that's
Yes.
possibly too complex, right?
Yes.
So you need guidance needed, correct? Guidance is
Yes.
needed,
Yes. We need assist to.
or assistance. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Perfect. Very good example, Sebas. Thank you very much. Nati, Andrew, can you give an example in which you don't need assistance and something for which you truly need assistance? Who wants to? Oh, and I'm sorry, Andrew is out of in the background. I'm sorry, Andrew, you're back. So, an example for which you need assistance, Andrew, and an example for which you don't need assistance.
Yeah. An example I don't need assistant. Maybe it could be to buy some fast food.
Fast food. You don't need advice.
Yeah.
You don't need assistance. Okay, well, that's simple. And for what activity do you need assistance?
Maybe uh, well, in a complex process like learning to draw.
Learning to draw. You need a tutor, right? It's not something that you can just learn by intuition or by illumination or by saying a
May-
prayer. I am going to ask, pray to draw better.
yeah, maybe you can learn some things for yourself, but you need tips or advice for other people to develop your skill.
Wow, that's a great example. Your skill. Excellent, excellent example, Andrew. Thank you very much. Now let me ask Nati what she thinks. Nati, examples in which you need assistance, examples in which you don't need any assistance from anyone.
I don't need assistance for found a TikTok that helped me or that I need. And I need assistance in topics of vehicles.
Topics of what?
Vehicles.
Vehicles.
Mhm.
Yeah, you cannot just say, I'm going to make an evaluation or an assessment of this car. You cannot do it in this moment, right? Well, Vygotsky says that every person, every kid has a zone of proximal development. For example, let's talk about math. What is the most basic fundamental? Actually, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to draw a ladder or a stairs, stairs in a house. Okay, stairs in a house, but I want to look at them. Um, okay, I'm going to take this picture. I'm going to paint this here. What is the step number one in math? What is the number one thing that students learn in mathematics? The number one. Well, maybe the numerical system, right?
Yeah,
They learn to write the numbers, the numerical system one, two, three, the integer numbers, the fractional numbers, the fractions, right? Now, the second thing that they learn, what is the second thing that kids learn?
the basic operations.
Basic operations, of course, basic operations. Basic operations. They cannot learn basic operations if they don't understand the numerical system. I mean, if they don't know the numbers, how can they multiply? It's impossible, right? So it's the
Yeah,
sequence. There is a sequence. What is the next thing that kids learn in the story of math? What is the next thing that they learn?
Mm,
Well,
maybe using in real situations.
okay, use of math in real situations, which possibly is the geometry, right? Could be geometrical concepts, geometry, because they need to know how to calculate the surface of a square, the surface of a rectangle, the surface of a triangle, the perimeter. So that's exactly true. You learned geometry, which is areas and perimeters. Is that true or not? Yeah. What is the
Yeah,
perimeter of your room? Well, you need to make operations, but not abstract, but concrete, right? So what Andrew says is very true. Use math in real situations. You are using concrete application of abstract operations, which is addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. Okay, but the idea of this exercise is to understand that they are sequential, like in the stairs, right? So the learning is sequential and it is in the zone of proximal development. First, you learn, number one, you learn numerical system. Number two, you learn basic operations. Number three, you use of math in real situations, geometry and perimeters, areas and perimeters, etc. So, what do you think of the idea, Sebas, that in many areas, not in all the areas, in many areas, in some areas, the learning is sequential? What do you think of this concept that sequential learning? What do you think about this, Sebas?
I
And
think
then
it's I think it's necessary in some in some topics of topics.
okay,
Why?
yes,
Because you need to learn something that you will need to applicate for the next topic. Well, like in calculus, you need to know to derivate.
yeah, the derivatives, yes,
You
to
need
derivate, yes,
before to learn how to integrate.
absolutely, absolutely. So you learn
And
differential calculus first, and then
yes,
integral calculus.
and after learn integral and differential calculus, you are going to learn differential differential
Equations
equations. Yes, when because you are going to applicate
apply. You want to apply.
apply both of them.
Excellent example. That's a great example. So in some areas, learning is sequential, um, and you gave a fantastic example. Thank you, Sebas. Nati, and then Andrew. Do you agree with this? That learning should be is sequential in some cases. What do you think, Nati? I don't know if you can hear us, Nati. We cannot hear you.
I'm sorry, teacher. Can you repeat the question, please?
Now, yeah. Um, do you agree with Sebas and Andrew that learning is sequential in some areas? That you go from step one to step two, from step two to step three, and so on?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like some mm, cycle that we need to follow.
Yeah. Follow a cycle. Very true. Thank you very much. Andrew, what's your comment about this? Learning is sequential in some areas. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that um it's correct because uh, in some areas the knowledge is a complement. For example, if you want to cook some dish, for example, you well at uh, the first step that you need to do is um, learn the instructions and the list of ingredients. And if you don't know math, how you can use the exactly quantity of the ingredients in the dish or for the
Exactly.
dish. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, for example, use um, exactly. That's exactly. Use 1/4 of a broccoli crown. See, 1/4. What is 1/4 of a broccoli crown? Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Ask the math teacher next door, and he says, "Oh, that's easy. 1/4 is this, right?" Okay, but what is that, right? You need to cut the broccoli crown in 4 pieces, right? One like this, and you have 4 pieces. You choose one. Ah, okay. So you need an example. That's a great example. Very good. Okay, well, Andrew, Nati, Sebas, thank you very much for all your comments and application of the ideas. We were talking about philosophy, but philosophy is like the top of knowledge. And from there, we derivate, like Sebas was saying about calculus, we derivate the other concepts. In this case, we talked about morality, virtues. We also talked about justice. And finally, we talked about the nature of knowledge. And knowledge comes according to many theorists and pedagogues. We were just talking a little bit about Vygotsky, but like Vygotsky, we have many other pedagogues. We have, tell me other pedagogues, Jean Piaget. We have this lady that's very famous, Montessori. We have other people. Well, there are plenty of pedagogues. Freire, Paulo Freire. All right. One last comment by each of you, Nati, Sebas, and Andrew, please. One last comment, please, before we close the session. What do you like to say? Nati, Sebas, Andrew? Or let's begin backwards then. Andrew, Sebas, and Nati, maybe. Let's begin backwards.
Yeah, teacher. I think that that knowledge is the most important tool that human being have in their hands, because with that um, that tool they can do whatever uh, that they can imagine to
That's a great.
create or to mm, to develop or to transform as they wish.
Excellent. That's very true. Great comment, Andrew. Thank you very much. Fantastic comment. Sebas, what would you like to say to close the session of today, please?
Well, it was this was a very interesting class. We learned about uh, like philosophy, a bit of philosophy, and a bit of other topics about blues and fields. And well, now with the skill learning, you see. Well, it was a very interesting class, and I think these classes are very good because we learn about another topics that are not very common in classes of English, and it's practical to express us in this in a normal conversation with other persons.
Okay, very good. Finally, Nati, what can you say before we finish the class?
I only want to say that in this class we use a lot of our mental and critical point of view of different values and mm, concepts that maybe are logical but very fundamental for our life.
Okay, very good. Well, excellent work. Thank you very much. Take care and see you next Thursday, okay? Thank
Okay,
you all.
teacher, thank you so much.
Yes,
Congratulations. Good
teacher.
job.
See you next
Okay,
class.
Take care.
teacher.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Take care.
Bye.
Goodbye. See you. Bye bye.
Yeah, goodbye.